Cannot hear you.
How about now?
I can hear you now.
Oh my gosh, guys, welcome to Around the Nation. I think we lost about half our viewers. What a cluster, you know what? About 20 seconds before the go live button came on, the countdown was going on and things like that. And then all of a sudden, my entire computer screen just turned green. And it's like, what the heck just happened? So I'm scrambling around. It's like, oh boy, what do I do now? So basically it kept the connection, but my computer. So anyway, Luke says that he still cannot hear me. So can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, Larry.
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think we lost Chase, but Luke says now it's okay. So guys, I'm sorry about that. Welcome to Around the Nation. And you guys know the routine by now. We've got some super fans. We got some coaches coming on. So I had this nice, eloquent script that I was going to read from and things like that. But all that has gone out the window because I'm so flustered. Anyway.
Hey, real quick, Larry.
Yeah.
Lowndes baseball just defeated Newton 9-5. And we got another, that's game one of the first game of the playoffs. And we'll have another game in roughly 25, 30 minutes.
Yeah, Billy, I'm glad you brought that up because, this is the first round of the playoffs for Lowndes baseball. And man, they are having an outstanding year, guys. So overall, they're 20-8. They won the region with an 8-2 region record. They're going up against Newton tonight. Newton's not the best team out of region 4-7A. They're the third. I believe they're the fourth place team. But they're playing pretty well tonight, and they gave us a run for our money. But we were able to win that 9-4 on the heels of our bats just coming alive. I think, Billy, we had 2 home runs tonight, right?
Yeah, we had one long bomb by Bennett, knocked it over the trees. Our seniors were hitting the ball so good, from what I hear. Bats were alive. Bats were alive tonight.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's great to hear, man. So listen, guys, we've got some great super fans that are on the panel tonight. Of course, you already recognize Billy Pearson. Once you meet and see Billy Pearson, you can never, ever get that image out of your brain. So you automatically know who Billy is. In the upper right-hand corner of your screen is Tierra Battle. And the lower left-hand corner is Chase Calhoun. They are super fans as well. You may not recognize them on the street, but I'm sure if they don their Georgia Bridgman white tuxedo jacket with the George Bridgman hat, you might recognize them a little bit. They were part of the graduating class of Lowndes 2014. Guys, I got that right, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so since they graduated, they have been rabid Lowndes football fans, and that's why we have them on the screen tonight. So, guys, welcome to the Viking Nation, Around the Nation Live. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for
inviting me. We got a lot to talk about tonight. So I'm going to introduce a topic, but I'm going to remind you at 7:15 we've got Kevin Wisham, the Strength and Conditioning Coach for Lowndes Athletics. He'll be calling into the show, and so we'll interrupt our conversation at that point. And at 7:30, Keith Wicker, the running backs coach for Lowndes football, is scheduled to make an appearance as well. And so he will interrupt our conversation as well. But it'll be well worth it with those two high energy guys, right? So, guys, do you guys recognize this name? Sean Smith, shout out to class of 2014.
Yeah, I do.
There you go. Listen, the first topic for our panel tonight, because I've been hyping this as major news that's going to affect Lowndes Athletics, right? And so I'm going to share something on the screen. Let's see. Hold on one second. Let me just walk through this. And
Broadwater on watching tonight. You see if Broadwater's watching. He may have a heart attack if he sees this.
He might have a heart attack if he sees this tonight, especially with me talking about it. So So here we go. So let me add this to the screen. Do you guys recognize this building on the Lowndes campus? The answer is no, because it doesn't exist, right? So the major news that's coming out over the last week or so is we're about to do a major facilities upgrade as part of a Lowndes Athletics master plan. Now, what you see on the screen tonight, what you see is basically an updated field house. Because guys, if you can see in your mind's eye, the current field house layout, you got two buildings side by side in north end zone, right? But guys, it is so overcrowded because Jamie DuBose and those other coaches have done such a good job of recruiting our own players, and we've got record numbers. But it's gotten to the point when you put those student athletes along with other athletes from different groups of Lowndes High and try to fit them into that field house, into that weight room. Now it's almost becoming a safety issue because it's just not big enough to accommodate. It's not big enough to accommodate all the student athletes, right, Billy?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't see how they get it done. Honestly, I mean, it's back to back. It's moving stuff around. It's not safe. Number one.
That's exactly right. It's not safe. And so what they're going to do, I believe that this was approved, I believe last week, maybe the week before, by the Board of Education to start the process, right? They're looking at surveys and things like that, building renderings. It's not a formalized process to begin break ground already, but we're way past the planning stage. And so this new facility is going to be part of a Lowndes Athletics master plan. So you see this building on the screen. That's going to be the new field house. Tiara, what's your first reaction to seeing this on the screen?
It looks sort of like the new addition to the front part of the school.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So they're gonna tie it into the main campus, the new construction of the new Lowndes High School, basically. Right. And so it's gonna be a nice looking facility. Chase, are you curious on what's gonna go into this new field house?
Yeah, I mean, it's something different for sure. I mean, we've had the field house that we have now for a long time, so I'm excited to see what they're going to do with it. Excited to see what all kind of upgrades are going to be done to it. So it's definitely moving in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me give you a kind of a quick virtual run through. I don't have the pictures of the inside of the building, what it might look like, things like that, but I can kind of describe it to you from what I've been told. It's going to have an expanded weight room, obviously, to accommodate a lot more student athletes. It's also going to have an indoor kitchen because right now, we feed our players all year round, even in the blistering cold of the wintertime. And so these players come, and like this past December and January, when it's really, really cold, they show up at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. They do their workouts, and then they freeze their tail off going out there and eating breakfast that Michael Broadwater makes for them, right? So this new facility is going to have an indoor kitchen. And Sean Smith says, I heard there was going to be indoor turf for training. Sean, we're going to get to that in a second. So we got some good news there as well. So this facility is going to be, I think, a 2-story building, and it's going to have glass windows at the top overlooking the field. And that second story, I believe, is going to be coaches' offices from what I'm being told. Now I'm hoping they turn that into not a banquet facility, but almost like not a VIP suite. Hey, we got to put you on hold because I got Kevin Wisham calling in. Hold on one second. Coach Wisham, you've reached Around the Nation Live. How are you, buddy? Coach Wisham, are you there? Hello, Coach Wisham. Coach, you got to take me off of mute. Don't y'all love live broadcast?
And technology.
I know, man. I desperately need a producer. I really do. All right, so Coach, if you can hear me, just call back. Just call back. Oh, there he is on cue. Hey, Coach, you there? Coach, you with me? Guys, y'all ain't gonna believe this. You guys know what I'm holding in my hand?
Oh my goodness.
I'll be right back.
Hello.
Coach, you there?
I am here. Can you hear me?
Listen, guys, we're not going to tell
Hello.
Coach Wisham what I just did or didn't do. Hey, Coach, can you hear me?
Hello.
Coach, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Listen, man, I'm sorry about that, but I had a little brain hiccup there, and I forgot to plug the phone into my mixer board.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear now.
All righty, good.
Hey, listen, man, before we get started with your interview, I want to play something for you and get your reaction, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, hold on one second. I think you're going to enjoy this. Okay. All right, here it comes, Coach. This guy is going to sound familiar to you. All right, here we go.
Get your chest up, be tall. Talk to you about strength. Talk to you real quick and go past the breath.
Coach, I'm playing that video that I asked you for earlier today.
Not physically, okay? Your mind is going to quit on you before your body does. All right? When you're slouched over, when your hands are on your knees, that's tired posture. Right? I am an alpha. I am an alpha. If I see tired posture, I'm coming after you first. It's no different on the field. No different on the field. You ever heard somebody say survive the fire? You got to get through the fire, fight through the fire. We're not fighting through the fire at Lowndes because we are the freaking fire. Do you understand? Yes, sir. Gentlemen, we come here and we get uncomfortable on these days. So in the fourth quarter, it's easy. It's easy. And we get it right here on these days, man. I love to see you strain. I love watching you train. I love your work. I love your energy. Stay on it, man. Win on three. 1, 2, 3. Win. Hey.
Woo! Coach, I'm ready to run through a brick wall for you. Did you hear yourself on the screen?
That's about 5 days a week.
Listen, are you that high energetic all the time?
Unfortunately, so. It's a blessing and a curse, but that's pretty much me.
I got you. Listen, you said something really, really interesting that I picked up on in that video. You said people look at your posture, and when they see you slouch or they see you bent over, that's when they come after you. Is that something that you learned from experience?
Absolutely. In the environments that I've been exposed to, and the situations, it is most definitely true. I believe if you're trying to get an edge, if we're talking football here, we can talk football, but an offensive coordinator, a defensive coordinator that's, standing on the sideline, if I know that a DB has been running up and down the field and he's got his hands on his knees, hey, let's go after that guy right there. Let's go after that guy right there. A defensive lineman that stays down, 20 or 30 seconds after a play. Hey, we're fixing to run it right at you, guy. And that's just, it is what it is, man.
I got you. So you're talking about body language. And if you've ever been a student athlete, guys, I'm talking to my audience now. If you've ever been an athlete of any kind, you look for body language, Coach, and you're exactly right. The guy that is just not into it, going through the motion, that's the weak link on the team, and you're going after that guy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The other thing that you said at the end of the video, that I want to get your take on. You said that we're not going through the fire. At Lowndes, we are the fire. What did you mean by that?
if you want to play us, you're going to feel the heat. That's what I mean by that. And I train our guys to strike first, strike often, and strike last. I mean, I believe that my training philosophy is built around our fourth quarter performance. You know, it's not about what you can do in quarters 1 and 2. You can go into halftime, the coaches make adjustment, but how much gas do you have left in the tank in the fourth quarter? And I can't tell you how many games, you know, just this past season, and then you can go back years since 2014, since I've been here, that we have just leaned on teams for 3 quarters. And in the fourth quarter, the other teams, I mean, they're ready to tap because we're still there, giving it to them the way we were when we came down the ramp.
Listen, I don't know who has better quotes, you, Kevin Peich, or Keith Wicker.
Yeah. We got a good little group right now, man.
Kevin Peich, he was on the show a few weeks ago, and he said, listen, it's easy. Anybody can live in Lowndes County, but everybody can't be a Lowndes Viking. And that is
Larry, I'll take that one a step further. I tell our kids all the time, it's not hard to be a Viking. It's hard to stay a Viking. We give everybody a shot.
I love it, man. It's not hard to be a Viking. It's hard to stay a Viking. I love it. Guys, and you're in the backstage. Help me remember that quote, because that's going on a shirt somewhere. So Coach, when we were just talking about this, the new Lowndes Athletic Master Plan that was approved recently, and you know, Eddie Smith sent me a rendering. You know, he's chairman of the Board of Education. He and I were talking yesterday. He sent me a rendering of it, what the outside was going to look at. So, how excited are you about the possibility of an increased size weight room training facility?
Well, honestly, with the growth that we've had, it's long overdue, to be honest with you. I feel like my capability as a strength conditioning coach is limited to my space and limited to the equipment that I have available. With expanding that space and re-outfitting that room and really fitting it to my training philosophy, we're only going to get better. And the biggest piece to that is that I'm not just at Lowndes for football. I work with every sport at the school. And so I'm running a bunch of athletes through my facility every day. More importantly, those female sports, and that weight room was set up, you know, I think 8 to 10 years ago, primarily with football in mind. And it's just, we're in a different place now. I'm trying to advance the strength conditioning program. We're trying to continue to win athletically, and having the space and the equipment to utilize what I feel like my capabilities are is only going to continue to make us better. I did the numbers just for the summer schedule starting in June, just the summer programs, and I'm going to be seeing upwards of 450 student athletes over the summer coming in and out of that facility throughout the week. And that's just totals from all the different teams that are going to be coming in. So the training volume is extremely high. Space is limited right now because we are where we are. So I'm really excited to see the growth. And I tell you, it makes me feel that much better about where I am and who I'm with and being a part of the Viking Nation for sure. Absolutely.
When I saw you at practice the other day, we were looking at some of the, you know, big kids that were just on the field. You know, some new offensive linemen, a couple of them are just big kids. One in particular I asked you about, and you were telling me that he's come a long way. You've put some weight on him, but you said something that kind of stuck out to me. You said, now it's time to back off the weight and get him moving good, and then we'll go back and put more weight on. How do you, I don't want you to divulge, you know, company secrets, but how do you determine what player fits that bill, and how do you go about assessing something like that?
That's all on an individual needs basis. I watch them, you know, when they're training with me, but I also make sure to get out on the field and see how they're doing in their sport. And again, it's not just football that I do that with. It's constant evaluation. My program I have an annual philosophy, an annual design, again, based on the need in the program. And I felt like, and Coach DeBose agreed that we were in the need. We needed to get bigger and we needed to get stronger. And, you know, I'm not really concerned with, you know, his conditioning level at this time, because we're in a growing phase and we're trying to get stronger. Now, when the summertime comes, then yes, the volume by nature is going to pick it up. The training style is completely different in the summer. It's a lot higher tempo. It's a lot higher intensity. And then we start getting into that football specific energy systems where he's going to be able to perform his sport at the highest level he's able to do it. A lot of those other things that, you know, I mentioned kind of take care of themselves when the training philosophy shifts into a different phase of training. And I tell you one thing I did different this year than I did in the past. I actually sat the football team down and put a PowerPoint up and told them what my philosophy was before we even started. I gave them a map, like, guys, look, this is where we are. This is what we're going to do during these months. This is what we're doing during these months. And this is what we're going to transition to. So there were no questions from them. They don't know. I mean, they not only know what we're doing every day, but they know exactly why we're doing it. And right. I think that's helping us this year because they understand where I'm coming from and what it is that I'm looking for. And, you know, for an athlete to know what a coach expects is only going to produce higher outcomes. So I took the time to do that. And that's just where I am, man. You know, you gotta pay attention to those individual kids, especially if it's somebody that you're going to count on. And then you've got to be aware of where you are in the season, whether it's all season, preseason, or we're right there in the season, because we train year round at Lowndes.
Well, listen, every time I talk to you, every time I'm around you, you're pretty intense. You get me all fired up. But there's got to be some downtime for Kevin Wisham. What does that downtime look like? You go hunting, you go fishing. How does Kevin Wisham unwind?
Coach, I like to hunt. I like to fish. I've got a 13-year-old son, and anytime that I'm not, you know, in the fire, as I say, I'm spending time with him. And, you know, being a dad, I know a lot of people in town don't really get to see that part of me, but, you know, I try to. It's not putting a curtain up per se, but you know what I mean? Like I'm a coach for a living, and then, you know, I'm a dad and a man, just like everybody else. You know, I like spending time with family, friends. You know, the crazy part about it is at work I'm one person, and then at home I'm completely different. You know, so a lot of people in my family, they get the laid back version of me, but that's because I'm spending it at work. You know what I mean? When I clock out, it's time to unwind and relax and kind of lay back a little bit. So yeah, I enjoy a lot of different things, and I try to make sure that, you know, what was the word the other day? I had a track kid tell me, Coach, you're very cultured, because I have conversations with him. He's a pole vaulter, and I was talking to him about natural honey, you know, and he was telling me about green tea. He said, Coach, you're very cultured. You know, I just try to dabble in anything and everything, especially if I can learn from it. Golly, if there's something I can learn or something new that I can grab hold of, I'm interested in it. But if I had to hang my hat on one thing, you know, fishing's probably the number one go-to. My golf game ain't that good.
I got you. All right, final question. Who's a better fisherman, you or Josh Akers?
I'm going to have to give that to my man, Josh. He holds the crown around there. I ain't taking that from him at all.
I got
He's actually taken me a few times. He knows his stuff. He gets to go a lot more than I do. That's for sure. I don't have a boat. You know what I mean? So I'm, you know, over there looking for a ride anytime I can get one, but he's got that one.
That's right. Coach, I know you were at the baseball game tonight. I think Billy Pearson reported that Lowndes won the first game 9-4. Is that right?
9-5.
They did. You know, we jumped up 2-0 early, and then we gave up a 3-run shot right there, I think in the second or third inning. And then, you know, our guys kind of just said, hey, let's turn it on a little bit. And the bats started popping, man. You know, looking forward to see how well they do in the second game.
I got you. Well, Coach, I'll let you get back to the second game. Thank you so much for calling in tonight. I'm sure I'll see you at practice soon.
Absolutely. Take care, Larry.
Thanks, Coach. Bye.
Wow. He's such an intense guy. I know our players have to feed off of that. Golly.
Listen, I know Coach Keith Wicker, running back coach at Lowndes football. He's in the backstage watching us and hearing us talk. And Coach Wicker, man, you got to follow in those shoes. You got to bring the energy when we bring you back on the stage in a few minutes. I was like, we got to smile at him, Billy. Hey, before we bring Coach Wicker onto the screen, I want to remind you guys that this presentation is brought to us by our sponsor, Winn-Dixie of Valdosta. Clint Haynes, the store manager, and those guys down there, they do a fantastic job of supporting Lowndes Athletics and specifically Lowndes football. As a matter of fact, they called me earlier this week and said, we want to donate even more money to the football program. So we want to treat these guys very, very well. So guys, all of Viking Nation, let's support the sponsors that support our athletic programs. So if you need groceries, if you need pharmacy, if you need produce, whatever you need, visit our friends at Winn-Dixie of Valdosta. And if you would like to enter in the drawing to win a free $19.99 Stuff the Bucket deal at Winn-Dixie Deli, basically, Billy, I don't know if you've ever seen this deal, but it's a nice size bucket, kind of like a popcorn bucket, if you will. Yeah, and you go to their you go to their wing section in their deli, and you fit as many wings and riblets in that bucket that can fit, and that's it. And so, guys, that's what you're entering.
Or that's what you were doing. You were loading that bucket up.
That's exactly right. You saw me there a couple of weeks ago, and I was stuffing the bucket, man. So anyway, guys, if you would like to enter a drawing at the end of the show to win a free Stuff the Bucket from Winn-Dixie of Valdosta, all you have to do is comment #OneLowndes. It doesn't matter how you spell it. It doesn't matter if they're capitalized, whatever. That's One Lowndes. You got to do #OneLowndes. So this is the way it appears right here. It's got to say One Lowndes. It's not the number one and then Lowndes. It's got to say that right there. Okay. So type in #OneLowndes, and I've got this automated tool that goes through all the entries and randomly picks a name. So it's completely fair. All right. So if you would like to enter that, #OneLowndes, and we'll do that drawing at the end of the presentation. All right. So I'm going to bring Keith Wicker onto the screen now, Billy. And we're going to talk about the running backs, because we just graduated a couple of really good running backs. So we're going to ask Coach Wicker what's the new crop of running backs looks like. Okay. Coach Wicker, do we have you?
Yes, sir. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, man, how are you? Listen, I'm so disappointed in myself because I had this great idea when I was gonna bring you onto the screen and then play a video of you sitting in a car, buckling up. You know, this famous Keith Wicker video from last year, your first year. You just come to Lowndes, you become the running backs coach, and then COVID shuts down, and all you coaches that you do like 30-second motivational videos, right? And you do one of the best videos I've ever seen a coach do.
Coach Dubose called me and said, you just got it stated by the Board of Education, and we're all sending these videos. How about sending us something? And I sent it. My wife took it. I sent it. And about 5 minutes later, I said, nobody knows me down in Lowndes. I do not need to send this. At Central, I spent 26 years. Everybody knew. I coached their moms, their dads, everybody. So I knew everybody. And I said, Coach, can you take it off? He said, I've already put it on. It's too late.
Oh, my gosh.
There's a funny story. A couple years ago when we were going to the state championship, my daughter played softball down in at Florida Gulf Coast. So every morning I would send her this meme of this little baby dancing and everything, doing really, really good. And one day my wife filmed me doing it, and I just sent it to my daughter. And about 3 years later, we were sitting there eating, and she said, I asked her why I was giving her money if I'm buying her food and everything when she comes home. And she said, Dad, I said, I'm going to take your money away. And she said, you don't want to do that. And so I said, yeah. So she put that on viral, me dancing. And the first Friday night we were playing Auburn. We scored a touchdown, and somehow the whole school system, everybody, it went on our Jumbotron. And that was the thing. Every time we scored for the rest of the year through the playoffs, I mean, it was even in the Auburn, me dancing, and it was something I sent my daughter 4 years ago. So I'd walk through the stores in Columbus, and people would just look at me and start doing the dance. I'd like, yeah, that's me. That's me, definitely. That's me. So please, I hope you don't show that video again, because I cannot deny that in Valdosta.
Oh,
but
my
Rick
gosh.
was my favorite wrestler always.
Listen, that video is going to live forever in Lowndes lore. Billy, I don't know if you remember the video that we're talking about, but he's sitting in his car and he puts on a seatbelt, right? He says it's basically one team, one dream. Buckle, hold on tight, buckle up, because we're going for a ring or something like that.
Yeah,
Larry, you're going to have to send that to me.
Oh, please not. I hope it got deleted across the whole. People say something stays in the cloud, but I don't know, because that is a rainstorm in that cloud if you show that video.
Coach, you might see that pop up on the Viking Nation before the season starts. Hey, listen, if we can share that story of Kevin Peich and getting his wife a gift, we can share the video of you.
His wife a gift.
Definitely.
So listen, thank you so much, because I think you were on the practice field earlier tonight. And,
right. We had the 9th grade. We gave the varsity off, and I told people I've been doing the same thing for 27 years. I've kind of enjoyed going out there with the 8th graders, soon to be 9th graders. It's kind of a different atmosphere. You just get to slow things down and start from step one with them. So it's been enjoyable the last couple of days.
Fantastic. Hey, listen, you heard us talking a little bit earlier before you came on the screen about the new crop of running backs. We lost a couple of great running backs last year, right? And Justin, IJ Mitchell and Justin Lee, fantastic duo. It was like a great 1-2 punch.
I enjoyed it. They accepted me really easily. I mean, they were just a bunch of good, respectful guys. And, their senior year, they're having to learn all new stuff from a new guy, all new terminology, all new alignments, all what I'm looking for. And they did a great job. It was unbelievable. And, we're going to miss them. But we've got a bunch of new guys. We've moved a couple. Chase Belcher's moved over from wide receiver, and he's that big body guy where I coached at Central that I'm used to. And he has been doing an unbelievable job. The thing as a running back coach, I've had to teach them is to be patient and let things evolve. And you can see we've got a young guy, Smoke Fleming, that's a 9th grader, going to be a 10th grader. I mean, he's just like a sponge. He's trying to soak up everything that you can give him. I mean, and we're throwing a lot of stuff at him this spring. Sometimes me and Coach Dubose and Coach Nelson, we've been together so long, they know that I'm going to complain that we're doing too much and they're not getting, but they have a different philosophy. We're going to throw everything at them and see what sticks. And so they've been aware of it. And, we got another kid that moved over we've moved a lot of people over because there's only one guy there that was there last year, Garrett Hawkins. And like every one of them's working. I've got a couple young guys. I really like them. They're putting in the extra work and they're trying to learn. And I'm trying to teach them as a running back, it's more than just run the ball to the right. If that's what it is, you don't need me as a coach. Anybody can tell somebody just get the ball and run to the left or run to the right. So we're breaking down more of where the blocking schemes are coming.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
The tech bug just jumped up and bit us.
Did we lose Coach?
Coach Wicker's Wi-Fi just froze up or something. So maybe he'll join back in. Man, Billy, are all these guys as energetic as the next guy? I've never seen a group of assistant coaches so energetic.
I think they gotta be. I mean, you could argue whether or not Alabama's running back you or Georgia's running back you, but we've been high school running back capital for years. I mean, we've had some great running backs, and so it's good to see a good backs coach with a lot of energy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sometimes I fake that energy. I'm 52, so sometimes it's got to be a fake. When I get home, there's a lot of ibuprofen going in the body. I don't know how many you can take. You're supposed to, but I tell them I'm about 6'2", 245. So I think 2 or 3 I can take those. I keep on popping them in there.
Coach, were you a running back when you played?
I played safety. As years get older, now I'm 6'2", 240. In school, I was about 6'2", 185. So, and I played every sport: football, basketball, baseball. Went to junior college and played baseball and things. And I tell people the strange thing was we used to have to run in fall ball, and I hate to run. If y'all ever see me running, somebody is after me or my car is broke down. If I'm running, it broke down the street. I'm not too far from it because I'll probably be walking by that time. But no, I put on a lot of weight since that day. I'd be a lineman, I think, nowadays.
So you said earlier that Chase Belcher's making the move from wide receiver over to running back. He's a big-bodied kid, very athletic, seems to bounce off defenders and speed to burn. But that's a big transition from wide receiver to running back. How do you coach him up? What's the biggest obstacle that stands in the way of a transition like that?
Well, here's the thing with Chase. What he's done good so far is he has a great first step. And his first step gets him going in the right direction. The biggest thing right now, we're just teaching, like I said, I have been very blessed with the athletic talent that I've had for the 27 years between SEC, ACC players, everything. And he's got that same ability. What I do is just try to get them lined up right and then let their ability take place. But the biggest thing as a running back, when people come to running back, is knowing where your blocks are coming from, who's pulling. Is there a 3 technique or a 1 technique? What's your aiming point? And I'm trying to teach them to get like pre-snap reads. Doesn't mean we're going to do that, but just by the way the defense looks, give us a shot at idea where we might be trying to go. And then we change on the fly. And he's done really good the last couple of days. Him and the other ones, they've broke some balls up the middle. And it's just because they're patient. They're not running 90 miles an hour into the middle of somebody's back or something. They're just taking, and then when they see the hole, that's when you got to explode at that point.
So, Coach, somebody like Chase that can obviously catch the ball. Try to use that to your advantage. Do you try to let him catch the ball out of the backfield some, maybe get him in the face and let him,
Most definitely. I can promise you, watching him last year, he will probably be the best hands of a running back that I've ever had. I mean, there's so much in high school football that you can really spend time on. And over my years, I've had guys that could catch, so we don't spend a lot of time on catching. But they can't catch as good as him. And I tell, and Coach Dubose and Coach Nelson, that we all think the running back is the most underused guy in high school football in the passing tree. I mean, to check down routes and stuff like that, to get one-on-one with linebackers. This week we ran a screen. We've been trying it all for the last 10 years. It hadn't looked good, but we broke it the first time today. So sometimes players make you, as a coach, look a lot better than you really are as a coach. So I'm like, yeah, we worked on that once today, and he made it look good. So there you go.
Coach,
Good.
Coach, a final question for you. I'm sure you know James Darling, Touchdown Club president.
Yes, sir.
He has got a question and request for you. I'm gonna put up a comment that he's posted, and so everybody can see it. Apparently, you've got some extra ability, according to James. Here it is, right here. Coach can also sing "Purple Rain." What's that all about, Coach?
Well, there is. If you saw the many videos from Central High School where I was, I'm that coach that I'm going to be in the weight room. I'm going to be in the gym, my guys. And, I'm giving everything a shot. Whatever they do, I give it a shot. And even though I'm maybe the oldest guy, I still try to stay young. And we had a big facility, and we had speakers in there that I think they came from Auburn University's football field. That's how big they were in our facility. And every now and then one of the coaches in there put something that I liked. And when they put Purple Rain on, I mean, the whole weight room, the whole facility would stop, and I would get up on some boxes and I would perform Prince's tribute to Purple Rain. I would be on the back playing the air guitar. I was probably one of the best. I grew up in the days of the air guitar and stuff like that. I think I even won a fifth grade talent show with my lip singing to Purple Rain at that time.
Well, listen, you've got a worldwide audience tonight. I mean, if you're feeling, if you've got an open stage right here, if you want to belt a couple of tunes here,
I definitely would. But I don't know if you remember the other day at practice, we had the radio playing, and when Coach Dubose plays the radio, I get more hoarse because I had to try to yell to my players what to do over the radio. So, somebody might be watching from a talent show, and I might not be able to give my best rendition, and I might only get one break on the social media of Purple Rain, so I'm gonna be ready for it when I get ready.
All right, we'll take a rain check maybe next time, Coach. Listen, we do appreciate you sticking around, even though we had some technical issues. Hey, listen, thank you so much for all that you do to not only coach our student athletes, but to teach them and instill some character lessons into our players as well. So we appreciate all that you do for Lowndes High. And
we appreciate everything you do also.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a good night.
Take care.
Thanks, Coach.
Hey, Larry.
Man. Yeah.
Top of the first, Vikings led 4-0. Bases loaded with, I believe, 1 out.
Okay. So Billy, who do they take on in the second round if they were to, this is an elimination game for Newton right now. They're in the second game. It's best 2 out of 3. So the Vikings take this, they go on to the second round. So do you know who they're
I had the bracket earlier today and I didn't get a chance to read it. Man, I'm swamped at work, but I think I sent it over to you.
Yeah, I've got it right here. I've got it right. They will take on the winner of Walton and Noonan. Walton is the number 2 team out of Region 3. Noonan is the number 3 team out of Region 2.
Okay.
All right, guys, we welcome back the rest of the Superfan panel, Chase Calhoun and Tierra Battle. Guys, before we left and started talking to a couple of coaches, by the way, did you guys think that those were some of the most energetic coaches that you've ever heard?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm ready to go play right now, man.
I'm 50 years old and I'm ready to go play.
I'm
ready to go play. Yeah. Hold on one second. I'll just make a correction. John Bryant, I'm sure that you meant to enter the drawing tonight, but I need you to re-enter your comment. It's not just #Lowndes, but make sure it's this. Make sure you see it on the screen. #1Lowndes. Okay. Because I don't want you to miss out on an opportunity just because of you left out the 1. So #1Lowndes. Yeah. So guys, before the coaches came on, we were talking about the Lowndes Athletics master plan, right? So I'm going to share on the screen something else other than just the field house, because I want to set this scene up. So we're talking about more than just building a new field house. We're talking about basically almost transforming the campus from an athletics perspective, because part of this master plan is more than just a field house. For a long, long time, the visitor side, John, you did it. John, you misspelled Lowndes. Try it again. So for the longest time, we needed to upgrade the visitor side, right? So the visitor side, at least the underside of it, is going to get a facelift. It's going to be repairs, things like that stuff. It's basically going to look like it belongs in the first world instead of the third world. So we're going to rehab the visitor side. So what's your thoughts on that? It's beyond time to do something like that, right?
Very overdue.
Yeah, I mean, last time they renovated the stadium was, I believe, after the 2007 state championship when they did the home side, and then they did do the away side. So I'm excited to see what they do for sure.
That's right. And so in addition to that, we're also going to add 2 tennis courts as well, because right now, I didn't know this until I had a conversation this week about it. But we're not allowed to, I believe, host region tournaments for our tennis team. John, perfect. You got it, buddy. So we're going to add a couple of tennis courts to expand it to 10 courts, right? And we're going to transform the Valhalla Drive. You guys know which road that is, right? The road that is that second gate that run at the traffic light that runs by the stadium instead of coming through the front of the campus. So they're going to reroute traffic there. Instead of me telling you, let me show you. And so part of that, the reason why they're having to reroute some of that traffic is this right here. All right, here it comes. Oh, so guys, what you're seeing on the screen now, part of this master plan. You see the tennis courts there on the left in blue and green. So they're going to add a couple of courts there. And you see the road that's being rerouted around the tennis courts, right? So the new tennis courts are basically going to sit on the road that's existing now. So they're having to reroute around the new tennis courts. And you see what looks like a football field right next to those tennis courts. That is going to be an indoor multi-practice facility. Let me say that again. An indoor multi-purpose facility. It's been designated by a football field, and obviously the football team is going to get a lot of usage out of it. But I'm being told that it's not just for the football team; it's for all the athletic programs. Baseball, I believe it's going to have indoor batting cages so they can take indoor batting practice. Wow. It's going to be 120 yards long. It's going to be a full-size football field. So the band, Chase and Tierra, this will be near and dear to your hearts. When you remember band camp in the sweltering heat?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Now these kids are going to have an indoor facility they can practice in so you don't pass out because of the heat. Yeah, I remember when my kids were in the marching band, they'd go out to the band camp, and every single band camp, there's kids just passing out just because it's so hot. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Larry, I'll tell you how bad it used to be.
Yeah.
The parking lot where drivers field and touchdown club parking is.
Right.
That is where the band practiced when I was in school.
Yep.
On the asphalt parking lot.
I can.
That's right.
I couldn't do that. We
on
couldn't
the
do that
asphalt
today.
parking lot. I can imagine how blistering hot it was then. Man.
I bet you had to get new shoes every day just from it melting the bottom of your feet.
Oh, brutal.
That's right. So you got the band, you got the baseball team, you got the soccer team being able to practice indoors if it's too hot outside, if it's raining. You've got, during the not the marching season, right? But you have indoor percussion season, or you have the flag corps. Let me get this right. The winter guard, not the flag corps, but the winter guard, right? They have their practice. And so the ROTC gets to use it as well. So there's going to be a lot of usage for this thing. That's why it's being incorporated into the Lowndes Athletics master plan. So my initial thought was this sounds great. And believe it or not, there's going to be a lot of people in Viking Nation that are expecting me to criticize this and things like that, because I've publicly criticized it in the past, right? Probably some of you on this panel right now. But when I talk to, because my main concern has not been a facility, because I've always actually supported having a facility, but my main concern was how was it going to get funded, right? And so after talking to Eddie Smith, he was telling me that, Larry, we've already got the money set aside for this because the last SPLOST vote included athletics facilities upgrades. So the money's already there. So they're going to use the existing SPLOST to help pay for this thing. And at the same time, did you guys get a stimulus check from the government in this latest round? Most people did. The vast majority of Americans did. And even though they may not have thought they needed it or whatever, do you think any of them sent it back? Sent the money back to the government? No.
That's funny.
No, it's not. I'm actually making a good point. And it's going to be evident here. Billy, my brilliance is about to impress you. So that was a joke, guys. You're supposed to laugh at that one. So
I'm laughing on the inside.
People got their stimulus checks and didn't send it back. And I don't blame them. You're just giving some money. School systems and businesses also got stimulus checks as well, including Lowndes County Schools. Do you know how much stimulus money Lowndes County Schools is receiving? You want to take a guess?
No idea.
$29 million.
Wow.
Yeah, you can pick your jaw up off the floor.
Holy cow.
That's a lot of money.
So we're going to be able to use that money not just to help pay for the additions that we're talking about here, not just the SPLOST, whatever, but we're also going to be able to use some of this money to help I think, rebuild one of the middle schools. Eddie was explaining to me one of the middle schools, one of the elementary schools in the south part of the county. Can't remember which one, but this money is going to be put to really, really good use. And so when he told me, I said, so Eddie, you're telling me you're not going to have to raise taxes to do this. You're not going to have a new SPLOST vote to pay for this athletic facility. He said, nope, we've already voted on that. And I said, fine, I'm not going to go back and relitigate that because it's already been voted on and passed, right? So there's no sense in re-arguing about old business. So that's basically where the money is going to come from. The existing SPLOST money and this stimulus money that's coming from the government that all school systems received. And I guarantee you, if you get a $29 million check from the federal government, if you're a school system, you're not sending it back.
No,
that's just the bottom line. And I don't blame them.
Broadwater wrote a check. That's where I thought the money came from.
Well, Michael Broadwater told me how much he contributes to the program every year, and I was really surprised. He contributes a lot. So
him and his wife.
Absolutely. And guys, at the top of the show, earlier on in the show, we talked about supporting the sponsors that support our program. The Broadwaters, including Joey Broadwater Physical Therapy, is a great sponsor of Lowndes football and Lowndes athletics. So if you need physical rehabilitation, go see Joey Broadwater. I can't remember the name of her business, but if you look up Broadwater Physical Therapy, you'll find it.
It's kind of behind Valdosta Orthopedics in that little.
That's right. That's right.
There.
And I've had to go see. I'm 50 years old. I've had to go see them several times, and they do a fantastic job. So let me remind because we're getting kind of close to the end of the show. Let me remind people, guys, if you want to enter our drawing to win a free Stuff the Bucket chicken basket, basically, from Winn-Dixie of Valdosta, right there at 5 Points, you need to type into the comments, #OneLowndes, just like you see it there on the screen. It doesn't have to be capitalized or anything like that, but we have to get in #OneLowndes. They can uncover Chase there. So what is your initial thoughts about the new athletic master plan? What do you think?
This will give us an advantage. I really think this will give us an advantage. Like Colquitt, how they're able to practice indoors. I feel like that just changes the game.
That's right.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming. I mean, me and Tiara, ever since she got into football, I mean, me and her have been constantly talking year after year about, needing an indoor facility and upgraded facilities and this and that. And it's so cool to finally see this happening. I don't know when they're going to start it, obviously, but it's cool to get this, in order and get to see this going.
Well, Chase, that's a great question. I asked that question. What's the timeline on this? I was told that there's a really, really good chance that the visitor side rehab may be completed by the start of the season this year.
Wow.
And
okay.
we're talking about, I think most of what we're talking about tonight may be finished within the next 10 to 12 months.
Wow. That's pretty quick.
That's a fast timeline. Yeah. Okay.
That's right. So they're doing some surveying work right now, some engineering, site work, that kind of stuff, just to make sure, this is where they think they want to put it. But on the right, you got a retention pond there, so we want to make sure we don't encroach on that. So I'm not sure if there are setbacks or whatever they have to worry about their ability, but they're doing all the engineering and surveying work now.
Ground retention pond.
Say that again.
They could actually turn that into an underground retention pond. There's several places here in town that you'd be surprised that there's actually retention tanks. There's Rite Aid, I believe, off of Ashley Street that has huge tanks up underneath it. So they could actually, I don't know what the budget is, but they could actually do that. They could actually cover that up and actually make it underground and build on top of it.
That's right. So Wilbur says, I'm fired up. I really thought it would have been on the south end of the stadium, the indoor facility that is. And Wilbur, I asked about that, and I think the thinking was they wanted to put it in a central location because it basically benefits all of the athletics programs. And so putting it on there on the south end, yeah, that's just a long hike for some of these programs.
No more crews up underneath the stands on rainy afternoons, which we get in South Georgia every afternoon.
That's right. And so to me, it makes sense to put it next to the band practice field, because if they're practicing outside and you get a big rainstorm or thunderstorm come up, you can quickly transition into the indoor facility.
Yep.
So yeah. Aren't you guys fired up? I'm kind of excited about this thing. Now that I know how it's going to be paid for, I'm kind of excited about this thing.
Yeah.
Does this mean, oh, sorry, go ahead.
How they were going to pay for it, what it was going to do to my taxes.
Right.
And would it benefit all programs? Because I'm a huge baseball fan, but I love the baseball team, and I think they're winning 9-0 right now.
Wow.
They're actually killing it tonight. But I love all the programs. It's good to see that now, our tennis team is playing well. We need to host some events. So to see it benefit all sports, I'm for it.
Yeah. What would you guys say, your honest opinion? What would you guys say to the detractors out? I'm sure there's going to be some detractors out there that just don't like this idea. What would you say to them?
You got to look at it benefiting not just one sport, but all the sports. It's like you said, it can go to football, baseball, band, soccer. I mean, whoever. It's not just benefiting one sport, and it's going to help in the summer heat and the heat we get around South Georgia throughout the year. And it's been a long time coming. Other schools have it as well. It's not just colleges and NFL and stuff like that. But other high schools have it as well. So it's definitely going to help out all sports for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, I'm sure there's people watching tonight that when I started talking about this and when we put it up on the screen, let's just go ahead and take it off the screen now and get you guys up on the screen properly. So I'm sure there was a lot of people, I shouldn't say a lot, I'm sure there was some viewers tonight that was kind of shocked by this announcement. It was voted on last week, but it was made public news, but it wasn't publicized. Not many people knew about it. So this might be the first time they've heard about it. And, in the South, especially down here, there's a lot of conservative people that don't like, and this is honest talk. This is real talk right here. Okay. Where sports, education and politics intertwine. It's just the way it is because we're talking about government money or public money, I should say. So I was in that camp that was vehemently opposed to something like this. If it was going to use public money, especially if it was going to result in the raising of taxes, because we see what's happening across town where,
their taxes pay for that school.
They spent $80 to $85 million and they needed a new campus, right? But they spent so much money that they needed that splosh just to pay for that, right? And I remember not so long ago that Lowndes County Schools was in financial trouble as well. I remember reading a headline several years ago that we had to borrow money to make payroll to pay our teachers. I don't know if you remember that. So when I heard talk of an indoor practice facility or a multi-practice facility, those images came to my mind, and those memories, like, I don't know if that's a good idea, especially if it's going to result in a new splosh, raising taxes, things like that. So that's why
those exact words just a couple of years ago. I mean, we talked about this, shortly after I first, started, hanging out with you, so to speak. And you were on the other side of the fence. So to hear you happy about it, that shows that there was a need and that it's achieved in the right way.
Absolutely. And so one thing that I've noticed about this particular Board of Education is they took over let's just be honest. They took over a mess, a financial mess several years ago, right? And I'm not going to go back into history and point fingers, but it is what it is. So this Board of Education, this administration has worked really, really hard to get their financial house in order, right? And so they went from I don't want to say a deficit, but they were definitely struggling. But now they're in a surplus, and they've managed their money well. And Eddie told me that once the new construction for the new Lowndes High School is complete, would it shock you guys to know that he thinks that we're going to be able to pay off that thing in the next year? Once we enter the building, he told me the other day, once we get the keys to enter the building, which is expected later on this year,
yes,
right, that we should be able to finish paying off that thing within a year. A $50 million project. That's how well they've managed the finances of Lowndes County schools.
That's good.
So when they have that kind of track record, and when Eddie tells me that and assures me that we're not going to have no new taxes, we're not going to raise taxes, we're not going to do anything like that, to build a facility, not just to benefit football, but to benefit just about every athletic program other than the swim team, because they can't swim inside a swim facility like that. But for the vast majority of student athletes out there that can benefit from this master plan, makes perfect sense to me. So what do you guys think? This is where you talk.
I was giving somebody else a chance. You know, I've got kind of a big mouth, so I was giving the other panel a chance to talk.
Yeah. Tierra, I'll give you. Listen, we'll just go around the horn because it's 8:07 and we got to end our show pretty soon. Tierra, what's your final word? What's your thought on this new master plan?
I think it will give us like I said earlier, an advantage over some other schools, or not just in football, but other sports. As far as like our conditioning and being able to just practice longer, maybe if it's raining or if it's thunder and lightning, whatever. I think it'll be a huge advantage for us.
Yeah, I wanted to get you and Chase on here tonight specifically to talk about this, because you guys are not so far removed from being a student out there at Lowndes High School, and you had to endure some of the hot weather and things like that as part of the band. Chase, what do you think about this? What do you think about the prospects for the student athletes out there?
Yeah, it's this is like Tierra said, it's definitely an advantage. And I think students coming up, not just in middle school, but maybe even in elementary school, playing football and softball and stuff like that. They see this and they might think, hey, I can't wait to go practice in that one day, or hey, I can't wait to go in that new field house or whatever. It's bringing a lot of excitement, and I think we've all mentioned that with DuBose coming. It's just a lot of excitement around the program.
That's right.
And I know Tierra remembers this. When we were in high school, we remember days when it was raining, and the football team was practicing inside the gym. They'd be inside the gym just going through plays and stuff like that. They wouldn't even be able to be outside and hitting, for days because of lightning and raining and stuff like that. So that's definitely a huge plus. So, I think the players now and, for the future are definitely going to be excited about, when this is built and when they get to go inside these facilities and everything. It's going to be cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Billy, what's your final word?
Hey, I've always been one that kind of thought, sports, extracurricular activities is secondary above education. I'm not a real smart guy, but I believe in education. But I think that the better facilities you have for your athletics, for your extracurricular activities after school, gives a student an amount of pride in the school he goes to, the big, beautiful school with all the advantages you can. I think it gives a kid, especially in today's time when kids deal with so many negative things and have to deal with things I didn't have to deal with 20 some odd years ago when I was there. I just think it makes them want to be at school, want to do better when they have great facilities like this. And I definitely feel like it puts us, you talked about is Lowndes an elite program a few weeks ago. This makes us an elite program. This will get us to that level. If we're not already there, this will get us to it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, guys, that brings us to the end of tonight's show. But before we go, guys, this is your last chance. If you would like to enter for your chance to win this free Stuff the Bucket deal from Winn-Dixie of Valdosta, this is what you have to do. Type in hashtag #OneLowndes into the comments. I'm going to give you about another 30 seconds to do that. Then we're going to proceed to our drawing. How about that drawing, guys? Man, you know, with all the technical snafus that we've had tonight in the early show, I'm really, really hoping this drawing tool, this random drawing tool, goes off without a hitch.
We're about to find out.
Yeah,
We're
I
about to
entered my
find
name.
out. That's exactly right.
So.
That's exactly right. So here we go.
Let's see who it is.
All right. So Elaine Day, I'm going to give you one chance. You got to correct it. It's not just #OneLowndes. It's hashtag #OneLowndes. No spaces in between. Hashtag #OneLowndes. And guys, the reason it has to be that way, you see it on the screen there. The way I set up the software, I could have used any word, but that's the word that I put into the software. And so that's the only word it's looking for, right? So if you misspell it, if you put a space in there, you put a number 1 in there, it's going to overlook it. All right. So Elaine, if you would put in hashtag. Elaine, you got to help me out. Not the number 1. You got to spell out the word. Hashtag #OneLowndes, no spaces.
Hey, as older generation, not that I'm old, but we don't understand stuff. So.
Yeah, maybe I'll do away with the hashtag next time. Okay, close enough. All right, here we go, guys. Let's see. Oh, God, please let this work.
Need a drum roll.
Here we go.
Oh, no, that's pretty cool.
Jennifer Fountain Green. Guys, I promise you, I did not rig this because her husband, Tony, won last week.
Tony's a good buddy of mine, so that's pretty cool.
So we're not going to let the Greens enter the drawing next week. So Jennifer, I will reach out to you after the show is over, and I'll let you know how you probably remember based on the instruction I gave to Tony. But hey, listen, congratulations to Jennifer Fountain Green for winning the Stuff the Bucket. Elaine Day, absolutely, they were just lucky. So that's just the way it works sometimes. Wasn't that a cool tool?
I like that.
Yeah, very entertaining,
like
right?
I thought it was going to land on me.
Yeah,
I was like, I didn't know we could enter.
Listen, Tierra, did I say y'all couldn't enter it?
You didn't, so I put my bid in.
That's exactly right. So Chase, you'll know next week, right?
Yes.
So
give me some chicken,
guys. Listen, I appreciate you guys joining us tonight. I hope you had as much of a good time as Bill and I always have on the show. Don't be a stranger. Come on back and join us again in the future.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but Coach Wisham got me pumped up, so I'm about to go play some football real quick.
I hear you, bro. I hear you. So, guys, thanks again.
Thank you.
See you later.
All right, man. Thanks, Billy. Oops, I clicked the wrong button again. Guys, without further ado, that's it. I'm tired of the technical problems tonight. So y'all have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.